Hey, how's it going, YouTube? G-Ball Vision here. Today we are taking a look at several different gear and gadgets for EDC, for outdoor survival, that are still going to be remaining a good price at this current time. The first item I want to take a look at is going to be a power bank that I have had for quite some time. I purchased this back in 2022, coming in at $17.24. They're usually $18, $19, and they also have a 10% code on this item. So going to take it down around the $15 price point. 20,000 milliamp hours, so double what a standard battery bank would be. Usually you see a lot of 10,000s. This one is actually going to be 20,000. Now, its true output as far as the 20,000 is concerned, I don't know if it's quite at 20,000. I would say it's probably more at like 17, 18,000 milliamp hours. So you're still going to be getting a solid battery as far as how much this thing will be able to do. You also have the solar panel on the front. Admittedly, it is going to be a very slow process as far as charging this with the solar panel only. But let's say you have this charged up, you take it out and you're out and about and you use it for a certain device, a phone, whatever it may be. You have the ability to let that solar continue charging this while you're using it. So it is pretty convenient. It is going to be a little bit slower, but it does work and it's worked just fine. You have a battery indicator. They threw a little compass there on the back. You have a little bit of grip tape as well to keep it from sliding around. You do have two USB A's and a USB C here, so a couple of different options. Also, this thing is loaded up with a little flashlight. You have just a standard flashlight, white light. You also have an SOS mode and a strobe mode, and they have a plethora of different colors. If this thing is going to be as good as the one I have after a couple of years of use, which is rare for these batteries, I would say it's a pretty solid deal at the price point. The next item is going to be this little Woobin E7 here. This thing is packing one hell of a punch. We're looking at about $24. These are usually right around $30. Now, this is putting out 1800 lumens, and this is a little flashlight. That is a very powerful little flashlight. We're also looking at a 132 meter beam distance, 60-hour runtime on low. It is IP68, so it's tested for dust and water, so very good on their end. We also have a 1 meter drop test performed, and it should survive that just fine. We are also going to be looking at the ability to magnetize this from the bottom. And then the really cool thing is you can buy additional accessories for this, whether it's a headlamp, whether it's a bike lamp or bike module that you can attach to bicycles, which I'm actually going to be buying one of those if I don't have one. I have one for a certain light. I don't know if it'll work on this one, but there's several different things you can do with the E7 that makes it very versatile. I love Woobin and what they've been doing here over the last year. This is a little older product for them, not real old, but in concerns to what is just coming out, this has been out for a little bit, but proven to be a solid light. Now, the next item I want to talk about is this Gulu AP150. This was sent into the channel a couple of weeks ago. I featured it on a Gear and Gadgets. And I have had several of these things. I initially bought one just to have in my truck. And then since then, I have gotten sent several of them. And several of them, including the one I bought, has all been trash. Then this one came along. Ashley and I were so surprised about this thing that I'm gonna make a dedicated video just for the Gulu AP150. I recommend to everyone have something like this in your vehicle. If you drive, this is there's no reason not to have one, especially right now. These are 50% off, taking them down to 35 bucks. This thing doubles not only as a tire inflator, portable air compressor, but it also doubles as a battery bank. I believe it's 6,000 milliamp hours right here. So not only will this pump up your tires for you on the go, bicycles, what have you, but it also can be a safeguard that's in your vehicle. So you have a no brainer. If you forget to take your power bank with you that day, you have something in your vehicle that is going to be able to do that for you. Comes with a bunch of different pieces and parts, charging cord, so on and so forth. One thing that sets this apart from the other ones that I have checked out, you have the LED screen here. It's very simple to use. This thing legitimately will push out, like it feels like a real air compressor. You go to use certain ones, and for one tire, you're sitting there for several minutes. It'll get the job done. It's just going to take time. This thing had all four of our bikes pumped up in a matter of a couple of minutes, whereas the other couple I've had that are very similar to this one, it's like a 15-minute process, 20-minute process to pump all four bike tires up, or four bikes, eight tires. This thing just ran through them, and we were like, whoa, you know. And then I rechecked the price, and I was like, okay, we're going to do a dedicated video on it. But I just wanted to put that out there. It's a great thing to have in your vehicle if you don't have it. Now, back to a flashlight here. This is an awesome flashlight. I actually have the flashlight right over my left shoulder right here, and it is a phenomenal flashlight. The Sofern IF23 Pro. This thing is an absolute beast. It is something I use all of the time. They're $69.99, but they got a 25% off coupon going right now. We are going to be looking at a 5,000 lumen output for the high. Now, this thing, I've showed this on the channel before as well. We've done a gear and gadgets on it. It is an absolute tank of a flashlight. You also have an aux light built in on the side. Not only does it do a standard white light, but you have the RGB mode built in, and some may find that useless. And if it is, don't use it. But I find it really convenient to have for different lighting. I spend a lot of time out here in this room, and when it gets dark, I like to have a little bit of background lighting out here, and this thing makes it really convenient to do that. You have a little push button on the front and a little tab there that actually spins in a clockwise or counterclockwise fashion, and that's going to put you in all your different modes. You can lock the thing out, you can go direct to the actual headlight or the actual light itself, the aux light, and then it also has the ability to go into a power bank as well. So this thing is freaking awesome, guys. It is one of my favorite flashlight. It is a built-in battery. Okay, so it's not a built-in battery. So it's going to be ultra convenient as far as the flashlight itself and how versatile it's going to be. I forget what the milliamp hour, what the battery has in it. I think it's not an 18650. I think it's a 20. Can we look? I want to know. All they have is lithium ion. I know that. We're just going to look. Oh, it is. It is an 18650. Okay. So you're going to be looking at 3,000 milliamp hours, which is, that's fine. It's like a little mini power bank in your pocket or in your bag, but you also have all the capabilities of the flashlight itself. It is a fabulous, fabulous flashlight. Absolutely love the Sofern IF 23, 23 Pro, and the 24. Both or all three are great flashlights. Now, moving on to a blade. Right now, the Kaiser Buddy, which is their newest fixed blade, is going to be on a little bit of a sale. This is the one I have and have used a ton. This is the clear acrylic handle with the AEBL steel. Typically, these are around $60, and right now they're down around $52.99. So, if you're looking for a little EDC type blade, something you can keep with you every day, it's going to be small and out of the way. We're looking at a 3-inch blade, not going to be, cumbersome at all. And you want to stick with a solid company, solid brand. I mean, it's hard to beat Kaiser, but considering how well this will be done and the steel and materials it comes in, for around $50, this is a very solid little EDC fixed blade. It comes with a Kydex sheath and that faux tech lock there, but going to be very good if you need a little EDC. Now, next up, these are CQR is a company. That's who I buy all my pants from, my tactical type pants. And I have probably 4 pairs of them. And right now, they're hiking pants, which is their little bit thinner material. I do have another set of their pants that have a thinner material, similar to this, but it's a different style. Those aren't on sale right now, but I'm thinking about, since I don't have these, picking up a pair to try. They're down around $44. Typically, they're going to be $52, $53. So pretty good sale on these pants. I like I said, I have several pairs of them. One pair I've had for a couple years, and then the other couple pairs I've had for the last year or two. Been wearing them a ton. They have a ton of different colors as well. Plenty of pockets, and I have some for winter that are a little bit heavier. And then I have some that are like this material where it's going to be a little bit thinner of a material, a little bit more breathable. But $44, not too bad, especially compared to the other companies that are out there. This is something I've featured a bunch on the channel, or at least several times. The Off-Grid Knives Bullet V2 driver. Everyone should have a good Torx driver if you're going to be in the EDC preparedness world, because you're going to come across, whether it's with knives, multi-tools, no matter what it is, different projectile weapons, you're going to run across things that have T or Torx bits, T bits. And especially with your smaller handheld tools, you're going to want to have a good driver. And this is a solid driver. It comes with a T6, 8, and 10 bit, and those are the most common bits for your pocket knives. You're going to be able to take care of 75, 80% of, maybe even more than that, of pocket knives, fixed blades, and so on that you can buy on the market right now with those 3 bits. Made out of aluminum. It's got a nice textured handle. This is, I even have $100+ drivers, and this is the one I typically use. And it's a high recommend for me if you don't have a solid, dependable driver. Now, back to, I believe this is the last one, and they're all 3 a little bit different as far as the flashlights go. The Nightcore EDC 27, and this is the UHI version, is on a pretty damn good sale, guys. Down around $72. They're typically up around $90, and that's because there's other models that are coming in, but that's not to take away from this flashlight by any means. This is one of my most used night cores, and it's because of the pocket clip and how the body is styled. I can actually slide that clip right over my brake line, and the flashlight will stay right there and can be used very easily with nothing else to attach to a bicycle. Gives me an awesome headlamp, 3,100 lumen output. And then you have the tail switch on the back that is going to cycle you through all your different modes and so on and so forth. Has a nice pocket clip on it. Wouldn't call it deep carry. You have a little bit of the flashlight poking out. But I think, if you're looking for a solid flashlight, this is an awesome deal that's going on right now for a great flashlight. Wanted to put these on here. These are very inexpensive. I have several different bottles of these. They're about $8 depending on where and when, but right now these are at 8. It's a potable aqua water filtration purification tablets. You get 50 in each bottle. You use out of both bottles when you're going to purify the water. One purifies the water, one makes it so the water don't taste like crap. But you can go with just one of them if you can go with just the one, which is going to be the actual water purification. You'll just have a little bit of a nasty taste, but if it's life or death, you're going to do it. I recommend having these, having a set in your house, having a set in your vehicle, and having a set in like a bag that you can take anywhere with you. Water is very important, whether you know this or not. You can only go a couple of days without water, and after that, you're going to be in very bad shape. So, if things were to get out of hand around you, or you were to find yourself in a very shitty situation, having these aqua tabs at the minimum is a absolute must have in my opinion. They're very inexpensive and very easy to use. All the directions are there for the size and how much water, so on and so forth. Get yourself some water purification tabs and get yourself some water purification systems. Next up, if you want a solid little pouch, no frills, you don't want to spend a ton of money, but you still want to spend enough to get something decent. I have pretty much every single Maxpedition pouch that they have made. There might be one or two that I, maybe don't have, but I pretty much have all of them. And this is their micro organizer. You have a little net here on the front. They're about $20 right now. They typically range and flow, between 22 to $26, $27. Right now they're $20.84. So pretty solid price on this little pouch. Has a single zipper, very very well organized internally there, and I have had this for several years, guys. 2021 coming up on 4 years now that I've had this exact pouch. I've bought tons of Maxpedition items, and they are extremely reliable and something I would recommend to anyone who's not looking to have a certain bougie company, in their pocket or on their back. And Maxpedition is a solid company anyway. So, highly recommend this organizer if you need something like that. Now, one to include a little bit larger fixed blade, a survival blade, if you will. F and Grow EF151. This is a newer fixed blade for them, and it's going to come in around $100. But right now, they have a 30% off code with this. So it's going to take this down around $70, guys. And this thing is an absolute tank. It's going to be coming in N690 steel, which is a great steel, a great user steel. Comes with a very solid Taco Kydex sheath, and then it does come with a faux tech lock, the large version, and it's just going to be a solid knife for you. Micarta handles, it's full tang construction. You have two massive torque screws holding each side on, red G10 liners, just extremely comfortable, really well done, and at the current price, going to be very hard to beat. Of course, you can take the tech lock off and you could put whatever type of clip on it that you would like, but this thing out of the box is ready to go. I have several F and Grow fixed blades, and they have all been extremely solid, as has many others who have experienced an F and grow, taken them out and actually used them, tested them. I have multiple videos on testing various F and grows as well as desk overviews of others, and they are very solid. Next up, these lanterns. Highly recommend having a set of lanterns in your home. Several different styles, in my opinion. These are going to be coming in at $42 right now. Lightning Ever. We've actually bought a couple of these from this company. Me and my dad, we have several different lanterns, and I have a bunch of lanterns. And these ones are really solid. 1,000 lumens. And what's great about a lantern is you get 360-degree light out of a lantern. Unlike a flashlight or a headlamp where it's going to be limited, the lanterns are going to be great for in the home, power outages, so on and so forth, emergencies. Also, they're great to have in a vehicle too. If you were to find yourself stuck somewhere, right, and you can't go nowhere, having a lantern like this, it's going to be a big deal. We're looking at 4,400 milliamp hours out of these bad boys, IP44, so they're going to be fairly resistant to water as far as sprinkling and stuff like that. You're not going to want to throw these in the river and then bury them in the sand and then expect them to keep working, but they can get wet, they can get a little dirty. They're going to be just fine. This also is going to be USB-C rechargeable. I recommend having USB-C rechargeable lanterns, have D-cell, have C-cell, have AA, have propane, have a variety, so that way you are always going to have the option to provide yourself and family with a little bit of light. I think it is paramount, even if it's just for yourself. But these are very versatile and they have been great. Love these lanterns, and you get two of them for $42. That is a solid deal. Next up, wanted to toss this in. I have a couple of these, I believe, all through the same company. Not sure why it says one purchase, but and maybe it's a different style. But these are coming. They're very solid. It's called a Shamog, and these are from a company called Explorerland. About $14, but right now they have a 10% off code on several of their singles, and they are great quality. I actually bought at least two. I bought like a nice red one that can be seen in the wintertime up here where everything gets coated in white and can be miserable. I thought a red one would be good for being seen if I needed to be for whatever reason. And I bought a more blended in version, something like this one here, to blend in the summertime. So they're good to have for a multitude of different things. They're huge. You can use them as face coverings. You could use them for different medical purposes. You can use them for cover. Use them to lay on the ground to kind of give you some separation. You use it for all kinds of things. A shamag is an important piece of kit, in my opinion. Next up, I figure if I've found myself in these positions, other people have and are finding themselves in the same position. And the question of, do you get a watch? Do you spend money on a watch, right? Because you have a phone. I was, even as a preparedness minded individual, I found myself a lot of times saying, I don't really need a watch. I have my phone. Um, but I've always had a couple of watches, but this is the watch right here that kind of rechanged my mind into it being completely necessary to have a watch on your wrist and to not rely on your phone. The way I started thinking of it as the less I have to rely on my phone for things, flashlight, clock, whatever, right? The less I can rely on it, the better. That way it can be used, the battery can be conserved for what I need it for. And this G-Shock is extremely tough, guys. I put this through about 2 years of hard, everyday use. Construction work, every day, getting wet, getting smashed into stuff, and it still looks amazing right now. Just a little bit of cleaning it, and little bit of care, a little, and this thing is going to run forever for you. They're like 47, 48 bucks. You can get a plethora of different styles with the G-Shock from Casio, but this is one of the more inexpensive ones, but it's extremely solid. It's got a shot timer or a timer built into it, date, the day, the time. Very solid. Very solid watch. That is not going to break the bank. That is where I restarted my watch journey. Now I wear this Citizen that is, powered by light, but I still wear the Casio once in a while. Now, if you need a pouch or a pouch or pack that's a little bit larger, I've talked about this on the channel a couple of times. I bought this before the holidays and used it up until fairly recently, and that's only because to test other items. These are going to come in at 38 bucks for the 1.5 liter, 50 bucks for the 3.5 liter. I went with the 3.5 liter. Tom Talk makes some really solid products, guys, and this is their newer 3.5 and 1.5 slings. Used it all the time, and it was ultra convenient. A ton of space. The material is well made as far as the actual sling bag itself. The actual strap and buckle are very solid, very comfortable, and very strong. YKK zippers on this thing. It's a stylish looking sling bag. It has no tactical vibe to it whatsoever. So that's something I don't mind having some tactical looking ones because of where I live, but it's also paramount to have ones that just blend right in, that don't look, nobody bats an eye at something like this right here, especially in this gray color. Uh, they're really nice, really convenient, and if you don't want to carry a backpack around with you, I use mine to go from the house to the vehicle, and then whether it's a sporting event or whatever it might be, that dictates, does it stay in the vehicle or do I throw it over my shoulder and take it with me? Just kind of depends on the situation, but having something like that with you, filled with gear that is going to save you in a bad situation or just make things more convenient, is going to be paramount. Now, this is a Tom Talk backpack right here. If you're looking for something a little bit bigger, the Tom Talk Flap Laptop Backpack, these are on sale right now for 68 bucks. And they're typically right around 90 bucks, guys. And this here again is going to be a solid bag. All the, YKK zippers, good straps, good buckles, good materials, very solid build, but it's not going to look tactical. And look at all that room and organization. You could literally put a little PDW down in there, certainly put a concealed carry down in there, laptops, uh, whatever it might be. You're going to be able to fit it into this bag. You could set this thing up as like a little go bag that you keep with you everywhere, and nobody's going to be any of the wiser as whether you're a freaking, traveler amongst the many or what is going on. I mean, that you don't get any more casual than that. But then you look at the internals of this backpack and look at all that organization. Very well done. Tom Talk is definitely on my radar. Now, these are on a huge sale. I have bought in two of these in the last 6 months. Now, I didn't buy two sets. I bought a set. So I bought the generator and the panels one time, and then I bought another generator. But what's going on right now is EcoFlow is having a bunch of sales on some of their generators because they're going to the next generation, but that's not a bad thing. These are still going to be fully functional. They're still going to be compatible with all EcoFlow stuff. One thing I'm going to be doing is adding an extra battery to mine. That way I'll have one generator or two generators and a battery that can be plugged up to either one of them to give me double the output. But here again, in an emergency or whether it's just traveling or whatever, having a nice power station with you at all times and some solar panels, I think is completely 100% necessary if you have the means to do so. If you have the means to get a generator like this here, which is not in the grand scheme of generators and solar, a big purchase at all. At all. This is like an amazing deal right here compared to what prices are of other items out there, especially like here's the new, or no, that ain't the new one. Where's the new one? Right here. Just the new Delta 3 by itself is $530. So you're getting the panels and the generator here for $700. That is a phenomenal deal. If you didn't want to jump quite that high, which I would recommend getting the panels with it and just being done, get both. If you can't do that, right now just the generator itself and you get this bag is like $450. Highly recommend it, guys. It charges extremely fast. We lost power the other day for like 10 hours, and I relied on one of these for, we woke up with no power. So I relied on it for coffee, microwave, a bunch of different stuff, charging tablets and phones. You don't realize until you go through, and we've been through several different things, but that's what made me eventually start to realize, hey, if something bad does happen, I'm going to need a little bit more than a couple battery banks, right? A couple of 10,000 milliamp hour battery banks. Those are imperative, but something like this is, I think, ultimately one of the most imperative items to have at your disposal. Now, if you don't want to even jump quite that high, I've talked about this many times over the years, not so much recently, but the AimTom 155 watt portable power station. These are like $117. The price has not changed much at all over the years. They used to fluctuate between 100 and 120 bucks. I think I got mine closer to 100, but that was in 2021, a completely different story. But this is the item that, I have it right here. I use it all the time. We're always using it. It's a little power station, so it's like 3 or 4 power banks in one. There's a plug-in for, just regular wall outlet plug-in, and it's got 3 USB-As plus 3 12-volt hookups as well, so you can hook up a bunch of different items to this. But this item has saved me, this AimTom has saved me and been a convenience many times, but it's also the thing that made me realize I need something bigger as well. Like, this thing is awesome for being portable, for just being handy. But those EcoFlow generators, I believe, are, something to work up to purchasing, or something that if you can purchase, do it right now, because they are a fantastic price. We have never found ourselves in such a weird time in the world, at least since I've been alive, and we've had some sketchy times over, the last 30 years. So times are odd right now. No, I don't think anybody knows what the hell's going on, and what's in store for us. So having some backup power like that, I think it's imperative, guys. Absolutely imperative. You have to let me know. What are some items you have found yourself needing and not having and eventually picking up? I'd love to hear from you guys. Have yourself an awesome day. Go check out one of these new videos I have popping up for you, and I will catch you